This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Righty, so the meeting is going to start at 4:03.
Not too bad.
Point of order, or Jonathan, are you going to be taking the minutes?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Jim, for offering.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so I can put the meeting minutes up, I believe. Let me try. It's a draft, but can
everybody
see that? No.
Not yet.
Hold on a second.
Okay, I need to share somehow. Let me just say share screen.
Yep.
And then I need to find the document, which is this one.
Did everybody had a chance to read the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody came up with any questions or corrections or additions?
No, I move to accept the minutes.
Well, let me just raise a couple of things for my, because Janet reminded me, now if I understood her correctly, let's just see. Oops. Okay. So when it got under guest speaker on the first page there.
Liz, yeah.
Yeah, on the fourth line where it says the police department.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and if I understood properly, that they don't actually employ the social worker in Easthampton. So it's the police. I would change that, the first half of that sentence, to the police department retains the services of a social worker part-time provided through a social services organization, comma. And then the rest of it, and the senior center has 2 outreach workers on their staff.
All righty.
Okay, and then at the end of the paragraph, adding what Liz said that she would send to the Southampton COA, adding to that at the end, as well as the name of the organization providing the social worker for the police department.
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, so it would say at the end, in answer to our board's request, Liz said that she will send information and then go to the end of the sentence and add the words, as well as the name of the organization providing the social worker for the police department.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm not sure if that's on. I do have that piece of paper too. I'm not sure if that's on there, but I do have their salaries and their hours. So we'll share that during the.
Yes, and I will say that I think Janet sent to all of us yesterday afternoon, and might have been the information. No, she didn't. I think she let me know at least about the social worker. That the name of the organization, I don't have it on me right now, but Janet can mention it later. But I didn't put it into the minutes because that didn't.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't have that information until later. And then on the second page is a very small change. Talking about the Memory Cafe at the very end of that, end of the director's report, second paragraph, which deals with the Memory Cafe. At the end of that sentence, it would be for the remainder of the, not fiscal year, but for the remainder of the term of the grant.
Term of the grant.
I think that would be accurate, right, Joan?
Yes, because the grants for Highland Valley run till
September, is it? Yeah. Okay, so with those changes, I'm fine with how the minutes stand, but I think Jim was wanted to make a motion.
No, that's okay, because I made the motion and we discussed it. But I will modify my motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second it. I second. All in favor? Do we have? Yeah, we have to do it by name. All in favor? Susan?
Aye.
Jim?
Jeffries. No, I mean, yes.
Jonathan?
Yes.
Okay.
And Sylvia, you must
Yes.
have to,
And me.
so that's 4
All right.
yeas.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. So let's move on to the director's and chair report on the year-to-date expenses.
Okay, you want the expense report first?
Whichever one you want to do it.
All right, we'll do the expense report first. Oh, I gotta do share. Wait a minute. I can do this.
I know you can do it.
Share screen. Let's see. Okay, so the expense report is this one. Share. Everybody see that?
Yes.
So this past month, we did not, the Fritivans, you saw that, but we have, the budget is pretty much the same as it's been. Our biweekly expenses, the director's wages, the 70% of the program coordinator's wages and the expenses. So there haven't been much changes. There was not a request for the memory cafe. There's been a holdup on one of them. I have to have birthdays. So until I get birthdays written down from a few of the visitors, has to be submitted before the 15th of the month. So that will be done. And everything else is that we haven't used our ARPA funds. There's been a discussion about the outreach worker, which we'll continue to discuss today, and the cultural trips, which could be used from another grant. So it's pretty matter of fact. There hasn't been many changes, just our regular biweekly wages.
Joan?
Yes.
I'm trying to see what's happening here. I don't know if I'm the only one with this problem, but when I printed out the documents that were mailed, I only got 4 instead of 5 columns. The right-hand column was deleted, which is fine because now you've got it up. But I was wondering if maybe we could do it in landscape when we send it out.
That makes sense. I'll mention that to Janet.
Okay.
So you want it in landscape so you can get the full picture.
Right.
Make a note. Put it in the minutes, Jonathan, so we'll remember.
Yeah, I'm also making a note about it.
Thanks for reminding me. Sometimes I just get caught up in the discussion. I forget that I'm supposed to be writing at the same time. I don't know how you did it,
Three of us
Jim.
write it. One of us will remember to tell her.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just have to keep an eye out in case she's joining late. So I was never a good juggler. I mean, I do like to wear many hats, but usually one at a time. So, so next we have our report.
Yep, the director's report.
Okay, so that, and Kate is here too, so she's part of that report.
Where did Jim go? Did Jim go?
I'm here.
Oh, he's here, just his picture's
I
gone.
don't know what happened.
It happens to me all the time. You must be moving the table around or something. Are you multitasking?
There you go. There you are.
Yeah, I clicked on stop video, I guess. So,
Oh, okay.
so I guess that happens.
Oh, this is it. Okay,
I
so
will
this
note-
is the,
I will note for the minutes that near the beginning of the meeting, Jim performed a disappearing act.
Wishful thinking, Jonathan.
All
okay,
right.
so for December, we were open 13 days. We were closed between the holidays. We did have the van running. We took still over about 100 calls, 18 walk-ins. Unfortunately, we distributed 45 COVID tests, and that was to, it seemed to be a spike in our core group. So we gave out multiples. The health department said give out multiple kits because I think they expire in February.
Yeah.
So and I think people are testing and retesting. They want to be safe and make sure that they're not if they've been exposed or if they have any symptoms that they want to make sure. Few people are starting to wear masks again in the center, but not so much. I know Kate has children, and I know they started putting their masks on, especially after the holidays when we gathered in groups a lot.
Do you think it will be advisable to recommend folks that come into the center to wear masks?
So we've always let the health department tell us. I mean, I did hear recently, I don't know if it was on the news, that Hampshire County's numbers had gone down. There was a spike in like mid-December, but it had gone down. But I mean, we had talked about it as a department head meeting, and yes, that there's a chance that because of us gathering during the holidays, that they might go up again. I always leave my recommendations up to the health department. And if anyone has any kind of symptoms or doesn't feel well, or just for their own well-being, wears them. And if you're in a company of somebody who's wearing it, you may use it out of respect.
But if we say recommend, not necessarily means it's mandated. So,
right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, of course, we're in the town hall, so we take the advice of the town hall. I know we're working with seniors who some are more vulnerable. But we have found that people just, are not coming in, that people that aren't feeling well, they're just not coming in. So
that's good. Yeah.
So Joan, on the test, are those in the orange and white boxes?
Correct.
One reason I mentioned it is many of them, the earlier ones, and I think there were some that expired in January and February. I'm not sure those are the ones that you have.
So the health department gave us an extension of 3 months or 4 months extension. She gave us a paper that went with them, and that they've extended. I don't know how they do that, but they've extended the expiration dates on many of the tests.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That some of them, if it says February, I think the expiration date may be a few months later. And if that's the case, you can go, if it does say February, to make sure, you can go into, just Google the name of the company of the test, and then just say expiration dates. And then for different control numbers that are printed on the package, they'll tell you what the current expiration date is.
That's true.
It's true. Yeah.
So, and it may very well be February, but I think there's a good, if it's the ones that I think they are, then it's a few months later.
Correct. And that happened with the first and second groups that we got. They extended the expiration dates. So we're starting 2 new classes, a stretch and tone on Thursday mornings and a Shakespeare class. And we were going to have the Shakespeare class follow that class. It's the same teacher, but we've chose to switch it. Her teacher's name is Cynthia McBain, and I think Jim knows her from Spanish class. But anyway, she'll be teaching, I think now we've decided on Thursday morning at 9 for the stretch and tone, and Wednesdays at 11 following the Spanish class will be the Shakespeare class. And the first one she's studying is Romeo and Juliet. So everyone will get a script. She and her husband were big Shakespeare fanatics. They've been to England, and she has retained many of the DVDs and the scripts. So I think it's going to be an exciting class. I hope we'll get some interest in it. I mean, 6 to 10 people would be wonderful, but I know it's a small COAs. If we can get 3 or 4, I'll be happy as well. But
they don't have to sign up if they want.
Yes, yes, because she has to supply a script or whatever. I don't know what they call it. I guess anyway, the Romeo and Juliet. So she has to have enough copies. So yes, we're taking a list, and the initial one was supposed to start tomorrow, but I don't think the word is out enough. So I think we may start next Wednesday. She'll be there tomorrow, though, so maybe we can answer some questions about it. But we're going to try. I did reach out to a gentleman, Steve Henderson, who did some senior theater with us, and he's a Shakespearean actor as well. So I'm hoping that he'll find time to come and be part of it and maybe give some of his expertise, because I had the opportunity to be part of that senior theater, and it really is good for everybody. It's all read. You don't have to memorize anything. And it really, the pandemic shut it down, but he still does local theater. And I think he's part of the Buddy Holly story that's at the Majestic coming up in April. So hopefully that'll be good. We had a wonderful cafe this time. It goes up and down. We had 40 plus people, the Voices of the Valley, and Tim Huber, one of our drivers, is part of it. He did an excellent job with a group of maybe 20 people from the chorus that could get away during the day. Very entertaining. The holidays are always great with music. And we did have our group from the clubhouse, and they were very entertained, and it was a very successful event.
Good.
And what is the clubhouse, Joan?
So the clubhouse was originally Golden Moments, which is a daycare, and it's part of the people that have cognitive issues. They go to daycare to give their family some respite. So that was originally, they were the ones that were coming, the first few memory cafes that we had, and then they closed. The pandemic hurt them and they closed, and they reopened as the clubhouse. So some of the same people are coming back.
So about how many people of the 40 plus people that attended, about how many?
Well, eight would be the number of folks that have cognitive issues, and then 8 partners or 8 caretakers. There's 3 staff members, plus there's a couple family members that came, and we enjoyed soup and sandwiches. And I've learned to curtail the meal to make it very simple, like a pub food, something that is easily distributed to a good number, because we never know if we're getting 10 or we're getting 30, so it's usually last minute. We do ask that people call ahead, but it's not always a perfect world, but we accommodate. I think we have a lot of volunteers. I think there were 8 volunteers helping out that day. So that helps a lot. Yes. Doing serving and yes, Sue?
Were they, maybe it doesn't matter, because I think last month we discussed, this should be available to people beyond Southampton, but Joan, do you think they were residents from Southampton?
We had at least 10 from Southampton,
okay,
but part of the grant is collaboration, that we really need to have people from regional. We had hoped, West Hampton, but that partnership never worked out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We do have people from other places. And our Southampton people go to Huntington. Huntington has a weekly cafe.
Okay.
So they go where they feel comfortable. And a lot of the comment was made that people with these issues don't necessarily want to go to their own town, because don't want people to know.
That's actually interesting. Yeah.
So, but anyway, I think it's not always a very successful, but I think we're getting the routine down, and I think it's we're getting some good programs, and I'm happy the way it's going right now. So hopefully it'll continue to go that way.
So Joan, were all 8 of the cognitive people, were they from the clubhouse?
No, there was another couple from Southampton. And there's another couple that comes from Southampton. But anyway, I mean, some of that's confidential, but yes,
But there were 10 people from Southampton.
Yes.
10, but those people being a couple of those with cognitive difficulty.
So so maybe the wife has cognitive issues and the husband escorts her, or vice versa. This particular one is, I think the gentleman has cognitive issues and the wife comes with him.
So most of the people, the 10 people that came from Southampton, they consisted of
I would
of
say
what?
only one of the 10 people from Southampton had cognitive issues.
Okay, and one was a caregiver,
Correct.
and the other 8 were volunteers.
So we had some volunteers. We do have volunteers from other communities too. We have a woman from Easthampton who comes every month. So people have connections somehow, they either had a family member or somebody. So there's people that have, it's dear to their heart. So the other kind of sad news is that Ken Cole gave his resignation, who is one of our main drivers. He was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So originally I was trying to keep him on for some afternoons. And then he finally, because he just finished some, training and all kinds of paperwork to get him certified. And he decided to take a regular job with O'Reilly's Auto Parts. So he'll be a big loss. We have to we're posting his, we already posted the backup position, but we're posting now for a permanent position. So there'll be 2 postings for 2 drivers.
Can we go back to the Memory Cafe marketing flyer and outreach? Do you have anything to say about that?
So you want to talk about the outreach worker?
I think that comes with the ARPA spending. But when you talk about the Memory Cafe, there was also
a brochure. You want to see the brochure? If I can find it, let me see if I can. Let's see. Yeah, so Sandy's been really great. She's works in both Sandy and Kate have been great with the computers, and she worked at, I think Sylvia gave us some names of places and doctors that we could send brochures to.
Yeah, the list that I sent had to do with neurological medical people that specifically deal with memory issues.
Okay, so let me see if I can find the brochure. Originally I had it, I thought here, let me just see if it'll, yeah. Can you see that?
Yep.
All right, I don't know if I have to stop is there 2 there or just 1? I may have to.
This is the back, I think.
Oh, okay. So then
well, actually, yeah, there you go.
So there's the inside. But what I'm saying is, do I have 2 documents open? Or just the one?
It seems like you have 2 documents open. I can see one behind the.
Yeah. All right. So let me see.
Oh, that's right.
If I don't play with it too much, I thought maybe I could. I'm just afraid that if I touch the wrong button, I'll lose everybody.
Yeah, it's okay.
Don't worry.
Yeah, we can see what we, we can see the brochure. Whoops.
So anyway, we put in Sarah the Fiddler. She's been one of our favorites. And I hope to get her back maybe in May. The only thing I found, a few people say she's too loud because we're, a small space. She's a much better sound outdoors. So maybe, if we were able to do it outdoors, it'd be more exciting. But she does a lot of participation. She passes out rhythm instruments. She gets them very engaged. And we have a few of her followers that also have, memory issues that follow her. And music is one of the last things that people lose in their thoughts. I don't know if you know much about the Alzheimer's and things, but music is one of those things that still people can connect to.
Yep.
The other one was the pet therapy that we had. And the other one was Richie Mitnick, who we'd love to get back for a dance too, but he did a great job with travel through I think it was different songs from around the world or around the country. So we did like a travel memories day, and he did songs that were connected to places. So anyway,
were you able to pass around the paper for people to sign that they're okay with pictures? or just taking their bags?
So what we chose were, yeah, I know you had asked about that, and Kate was going to help me with a form. So the Richie's, this one was online, and Richie, I have a verbal from him, but I don't have it in writing. The other two, well, the dog, we don't need his, but let's see, what is the owner's name? Steve. Steve, he is used to being on Facebook and other places because this is his second therapy dog. But I think, yeah, probably the gentleman that is in that first photo, his name is Sydney. Yeah, I do not have a
Joan.
Yes.
Since this is a public meeting, I would just suggest, for the very same reason that we're concerned in the first place, I would just, check outside of it all, and if any changes need to be made with the brochure, you can make them.
All right.
If there's some doubt as to whether they're fine with doing it, unless people think it's okay to go ahead and have these people's photos without permission.
We talked about getting a waiver. So I will, Kate was helping me. The one that she had was very complicated, but I'm sure there's a short form. And I have the phone numbers of the folks. I'll call them and make sure we get the correct waivers.
It could be a simple one about, I give permission to, COA, Southampton, blah, 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 to have my photograph to use my photograph in flyers, or, to do outreach, or it could be that simple.
And I also think it's quite possible that we're not the only, that this isn't the only function department of the town that has had the issue of that. Other reasons that people may not want photographs of themselves to appear, and so you might want to check with possible that Ed Gibson might have a form.
Yeah.
I also would think that the city of Easthampton probably had an attorney review their form. And so it might be long, but it might be to our advantage to use the complex form. Because I think as a layperson, I don't know all the ins and outs, but I almost think there might be HIPAA implications with something like that. So,
okay. Yeah, Kate will be in next week. We'll work together and see if we can come up with something. You're talking about photographs. This is something new that they're doing for all the town employees. The town administrator's office, Judy, is taking photos. It's especially good for anybody that has to go house to house or go out into the community.
Right. Yeah, so to ID yourself. Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it will be safer also for the person going in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what didn't we cover? I covered the new programs, the updates on the ARPA spending.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about the outreach, little research we've done?
Yeah, we got a form. I don't know if you have it online, if you can post it. We, the social worker that visited us last time, that she was our guest from Easthampton, Miss Plouffe is her last name. She did send an outreach worker
job description. Is that what you're looking for? Okay. Yeah, I got it.
I got it in my hand. I printed it. It looks like this. So it's, to give us an idea of what they have used, or what is being used in the markets that they are working. I read it. I briefly read it, and I think most of it we can use it if we want to post it when we're ready to post it. I don't see that she gave us did she?
It's in another, Sylvia.
Yeah.
salary range?
Yes, and that was sent out yesterday by Janet, I believe, that had the salary range and the hours for each of the two workers, one of which is the coordinator.
Yeah, I saw it and I didn't print it. Apologize. I read it. You're correct. I read it and I didn't print it. Sorry.
I have it. I have it somewhere. Outreach salaries.
Yeah.
Can you see this or no? Let me
Not
just.
yet.
All right. Let's see how this works. So I need to share screen and
I have the paper, but I don't have the salary.
follow up Liz Plouffe. So this is, can you see that or no?
Yes, there it is.
All right. So just this bottom of this email. So there's two different, the outreach staff. There's a coordinator, which is a grade C, which is a higher grade in Easthampton. Ours go by numbers. So like I'm a grade 5. So grade C, I'm not sure what that compares to, but their outreach coordinator at the Council on Aging works 35 hours a week, which is more than we are even open. So, and they get $19.94 to $26 an hour, depending on their skills or their years of experience.
Or their grade in this case.
And yes, their degrees too.
Yep.
If they're licensed or not licensed social worker. And I think we're looking more at the outreach worker, an 18-hour position, 18 to $23 an hour, something like that.
Yeah, but this is a grade B.
Mm-hmm. So Easthampton is different than Southampton in many ways, but because they allow 55 and older, and we're targeting 60-year-olds. So I'm not sure when they started targeting 55 and older. I don't know. I know as a state requirement, it's 60 and older, and I think Highland Valley is 60 and older. So I'm not sure. I know the reason they're doing it because they want to catch people when they're getting to retirement age. Some people do retire at 55. Some people that are under 60 are disabled and not working, so they could technically participate in a Council on Aging, or their enrichment centers, what they call theirs.
Right.
So I'm not sure if, in the future, maybe, I know we're working towards a new center, how the stipulations of getting people 55 and older versus 60 and older.
So we'll look a little bit more closer into that, and with the job description that we got, which I think is pretty interesting, and it fits our needs. Actually, the most of the stuff that is on it really fits our needs.
Yeah. It seems to me that this job description, which I think is excellent, but really requires for near professional status of the person. Some of the function of the position are pretty complex and difficult. So
at least a bachelor's degree, in a related field.
But bachelor's degree in social work with 1 to 3 years experience. And some of the things that they do involve planning and, making life decisions and so forth. And rather than just saying, this is what we want to do, we should hire somebody, I think that we need to at least speak to Ed, if not other people, to see what legal obligations might go with that. For example, would we need special professional insurance for the individual? And if whether or not we have the infrastructure to really support a position like this. If we could, it would be wonderful. I mean, I would hope we could do it. But I think that this really needs some consideration.
And we think we have, at one point we touch on that, but we have not moved on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think some of the things are advocacy for home and fuel. And I mean, it just seems to be I'm fishing for words because I can't express what I'm thinking.
That's
but
okay.
That's not
I mean,
unusual.
we already do fuel assistance. Kate has already done a few.
Well, I didn't mean to hit that, but I was trying to say that
right.
There's some kind of personal stuff here too that they get involved in that I think would take a trained person to do, and wondering what kind of exposure the town would have by providing that kind of a service. And, if we need insurance or how to integrate it into our personnel system.
That's a good point. Yeah, Jonathan?
I think there are plenty of models around for us, so we can easily research that, I would think. Not just Easthampton, but I know that South Hadley has a social worker who does most of her work, I think, out of the senior center, but I'm not so sure she's limited to that. And I think Northampton has something like that. Hadley probably, I think, has an outreach coordinator. So I think I agree with Jim. It needs to be researched, but I don't think we're starting from zero on that.
Right. Yeah.
And there's no deadline for the ARPA funds, so it's not like we have to rush into it. I think we want to, we don't want to wait on it, but we want to do it, make sure we're making good choices and
choices. Yeah. Yeah. And
so is this the top of the list right now for what to spend ARPA funds on? Has that decision been made?
So did you get to read the January newsletter? It was on the front page, but the other suggestion was the cultural trips, and but until we knew what the salary would be for a outreach worker, we didn't want to spend the funds haphazardly. So we are going to plan a trip to the Majestic, but the funds will come out of the formula grant. It's only about $300 right now. People will pay for their own ride there, but it's a matinee. I'd like to do one a month. The other places are like the greenhouse at Smith College for the spring bulb show, which I don't think it's not expensive to get in. I think it's under $10.
It's $2.
$2. Yeah. So I think we can afford that.
Yeah. It is $2.
I think because of COVID, wasn't, for example, the Smith spring bulb thing only to members only
this year?
Last March, year. Whatever it was. So, this is not a great winter again. So I don't know.
So that should be checked out before.
Yes.
We'd have to make some calls and make sure that we're still wanted. Maybe there's members. Maybe we have members that are a part of our community.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. And also with regard to the trip to the Majestic, are the ARPA funds being used to pay for the tickets?
I've decided not to use the ARPA funds for that, even though it's only $300, because we really want to save that for the outreach worker. So it's right now it's going to come from they've already been purchased, and actually I think I've already gotten my refund, and we have them in hand. So it came from the formula grant.
Oh, but it is being paid for.
Yes.
But out of the formula grant.
Right, because formula grant does programming as well. I think if we're looking at bigger money, like we want to rent a 40, 50 passenger bus, we want to go to Tanglewood, where we're talking thousands of dollars. And we've already budgeted our outreach worker, and the outreach worker is going to use, say, $30,000. We have an extra
the only reason I was asking this, I didn't think it was clear from the newsletter. Number one, even what the show was, but then you had the little box below and it had the ticket price. So I didn't know if people feel that it's going to cost them $27 or $28 to go.
Right. And I apologize for that. Sandy does a great job with the newsletter, but we've had trouble getting advertising. So they're cutting our 10-page newsletter to 7 pages. And we thought they were doing it last month. So besides not making it clear that we didn't want to necessarily use the ARPA funds, it did say grants to expand programs.
Because It was
We
left
also-
generic that way.
It was more generic. Plus, it was very last minute. We had to change the newsletter and add some things to make it complete. So I apologize for that.
No, I wasn't being critical, but I was
Yeah,
just,
but you're right. It looks like it costs $27, but it's actually free. So I think Kate made up new signs that say free ticket price. And I'm not sure what it costs for the bus, but it probably costs $3. Is it $5 for the bus?
great.
Thank you.
Another question on the outreach coordinator, if we go that way and use ARPA funds for that person, would it be the ARPA funds? Are we talking about 2 years of ARPA monies for that?
It could be if we're saying that we're going to give $25,000 each year towards that. We have $50,000. So if we want to say we're going to, do 2 years at $25,000 and figure out how many hours that is per week, per hour, that's a possibility.
Yeah, that's another decision that needs to be made.
But right now we were down drivers. So my priority is to get a couple more drivers on the road. And it's as we know, with PPPB, it's a process. So we need to get the right PCFs, the right PRFs, the right job descriptions. It'll be a little while before we can look at adding an outreach worker. I don't even know if we have to wait till the new fiscal year or not. I don't know because it's from a grant. I know other departments have used the ARPA fund to add positions. So can they be added before the beginning of the fiscal year?
We have 50,000, I understand, for ARPA to spend whenever we want, and it goes directly to the COA. So I think that gives us a lot of leeway. What we have to do for, I think there's reporting requirements probably on our use of it to the state. But that, other than that, I don't think there's much requirement.
Correct.
Yeah. But let me just say on the FRITA van drivers, I thought that that's from the FRITA grant pays for those 2 drivers, right? So that's covered, should be covered already. Right.
It is covered. What has happened with Ken stepping down, Tim has had to take over his shifts. So instead of working 2 days a week, he's working 5 days a week. And it's not what he signed up for, and it's not what he wants. So a couple of things are snowballing because of that. He will fill in as long as he needs to, but there's been discussion about his pay rate being too low, that he really is entitled to more pay. I'm in full agreement. I reach out to FRITA to compare what other drivers make in other towns. So that's a whole nother discussion, and I don't know how the recommendations, I don't have Janet here for her expertise, but to make a recommendation to give him a raise, and because he's not on the town payroll. So I'm not sure what we need to do to give that man a raise to keep him. I'm afraid that we'll lose him as well.
But if we're not losing him, if we don't lose him, then it's just 1 van driver we're looking for, right?
No, we still need 2 because
I'm sorry, I'm confused. We want 3 in all or 2?
3 in all. So originally we had 2 drivers. One worked 3 days a week. One works 2 days a week. The third one is if somebody gets sick, somebody goes on vacation. So we need somebody to back up.
I think I should recuse myself because Tim's my closest friend.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I'll step away for a while, okay, so that I would not be involved.
I don't think we can make a decision with the board tonight. I really don't. I think, okay. I don't know who, if PPBB has to be involved. I don't know who has to be involved.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a discussion that we need to have with Janet before, and probably even Ed, before that gets decided. So can we move on for the next one? The new and old business?
We forgot the budget review. Do you want to look at the budget really quickly?
Well,
We had a meeting with Ed.
Yeah, that's part of the new and old business.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, fiscal year 24 budget.
Yes, I see it now.
Yeah.
I'm
and
sorry.
it's on the other side of the budget that we already saw. It's the other side of the page.
Okay, let me see if I can share this.
Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure.
So budget. I think it's this one. Does that look familiar? Oh, there it goes. So the first budget would be level funded. So whatever we had last year, we'll get this year. So actually, I don't know if we can see this whole budget. Oh, yes, we can.
There we go.
Just from one page to the next.
So I'm confused. We're in the middle of the fiscal year 2023.
Correct.
And we're now going to be, which ends June 30th, right?
That's right.
So, but we're now talking about the 2024 budget.
Right. It's due to the accountant next Friday. So we had a meeting with Ed about how how do we move forward? And as you know, I am planning my last day to be June 30th of this year. I'll be retiring. So it'll be a new director as of July 1st, or hopefully a couple weeks prior to that, so that we can have an interim and, a smooth transition. So we want to make sure that we, give a salary that's inviting. I think I did the COA wages wrong on this one. So this is not to be submitted yet. But the wages right now are from Sandy's position, the COA program coordinator. And it's 70% of her wages, and the rest comes from grants. So Kate's job, the volunteer coordinator, is paid out of a grant, the formula grant, and the rest of Sandy's salary gets paid out of the formula grant. So, I'm not sure that I can change this. Probably not. Oh, maybe. So no. And no.
No, I don't think you can.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll send you the corrected version. We were working on this with Ed yesterday. But the thought was to start a new director about $27 an hour. I make $26.33 an hour. The next grade level up is $27.18 an hour. So we were going to formulate the budget at $27.13 or $27.18 an hour. And then we were trying to increase the hours of the COA. So right now the COA closes at 3, and we would like to extend that to 4, which the rest of the building is open till 4. And also we have these meetings that happen after hours, that happen till, an hour or two after hours. So we want to add hours to the salary so that, we can keep the center open longer, maybe an evening once or twice a month, maybe a Friday, which we have done Fridays at times. Anyway, and we're just projecting the future, that we're looking to get a new center. We need to expand our programming. We need to think about, people that are working, that are over 60 and want to do an evening program or come and use the equipment in the evening. So that's the idea. So the second wish list is, I think it's 34 hours times 27.17 times 52.2. So we're working on a salary that would help a person, a new director, work 30 to 34 hours a week. We may have to wait somewhere in the middle. I also had a discussion about adding back our administrative assistant, which we lost when we added our program coordinator. So I really think we spend a lot of our time on clerical things. You know, it's one thing to have a volunteer answer the phone, but they can't put rides in the computer, and they can't, you know, do some of the things that a staff member can do. We have 3 staff members for 4 days a week. I really think that the administrative assistant is an important position, and I like to see it back in the budget. So that was the other recommendation, is to hire back an administrative assistant, you know, maybe 4 to 8 hours a week, depending on what the budget would, what we could do with the budget. So it may only be a couple hours a day, 2 days a week. That's how our volunteer coordinator was. So maybe we'll have to see how much we can expand. I mean, we've come a long way in 5 years. And my position used to be on the formula grant. So, and I think I made $20 an hour when I first started. So I've come a long way, or the position's come a long way.
You'd already come a long way, Joan.
Well, yeah, it's a half an hour each way into work every day.
I thought you were paid by the formula grant.
Not anymore. When I first was hired.
Oh, okay, but where are you paid from now?
Now I'm from the town wages. The COA director has her own line. We have our own line. I'm a line item. Anyway, working on the budget has to be submitted, you know, I don't know when the select board gets it. Maybe not till April, I don't know, but it has to be submitted now for the future.
Yeah, I think it's in the March or April meetings, end of March or beginning of April meetings of the select board when it is presented.
All right, do you want me to stop sharing for now? What else do we want to talk about?
Okay, the budget was reviewed. Feasibility committee update.
So since I'm the only member here, Janet would have a remarkable, we meet every 2 weeks. It's an exciting time. And I hope you've all taken the survey. Have you all taken the survey? So I just found out today that we were in the Hampshire Gazette on Saturday.
Yeah.
Did you know that we had an article?
Yes, there was an article. I saw it.
So I guess Emily, who is the reporter, she's very good, and I guess she spoke with Janet. But it was very clear why the survey had to be done. And I thank you, I think, Sylvia, for getting that up on the board. Did you talk to Jim Lumbra about putting that survey up, or was that in front of the town hall? No? Oh, well, anyway, the survey, the request for people.
Sorry. I was thinking of something else.
You know what I'm talking about? The sign out front of that you do for the Memory Cafe?
Yeah.
So it says, take the survey. So as of today, I think Janet sent a email that there were over 220 responses. That's not terrific.
Yeah.
We have 2,000 seniors in town. So it would be great but some of the seniors that use the center didn't even take it. You know, they didn't think it was important. I said it's very important. You know, we need everybody to be on board with this, you know, the senior center is not going to be built next year, but we need to make steps in the right direction. And if we get the plan in place and, you know, the plan gets approved and we get the 2.5 million, well, that'll be great seed money, you know, for the next step to the capital campaign, et cetera, et cetera.
One thing, if you don't get the newspaper, I have it. I can cut and paste and send it to you all. Because if I just send you the article, you won't be able to open it. But I have a subscription, so I can. I'm sorry, something is flying around here. There is I can cut and paste and send it to you all. Yes.
Joan, is there a possibility that I noticed today that, because I hadn't done the survey yet, that the deadline is January 6th, which is Saturday. Saturday, well, what's today?
Friday.
The 4th? That's
Friday.
So is there any possibility it can be extended a week so that word can get out to those who haven't taken it yet?
I can find out. That's probably a good suggestion because it went over the holidays, which, a lot of us weren't really connected to anything over the holidays.
Not the best timing, yeah. And I know that you've got deadlines to meet, but
I was surprised it was such a short survey. I don't know if they were pressuring people to get it done, or I don't know why they made it so short. But I know that they're planning towards the next public hearing, which is at the school. They're targeting around February 23rd for at Norris School. So
well. If it doesn't sound like a bad idea, can you just say something to Janet and before your next meeting, just so that, like by tomorrow morning, because already tomorrow's going to be one day before the deadline as it currently exists.
Yeah, I don't know how difficult it is to extend it a week. I wouldn't imagine it would be. They just leave the link up.
Well, I don't know. Someone would have to say on that, but if the architects and you guys need the time before that January 24 meeting,
maybe I'll send a text to Janet and just see if we can get that. I don't know what she can do, but we'll try and remember before the end of the night to make sure that she.
And if it's going to be extended, can you send something to all of this? Because if so, then I will send some. I can send an email out to a few people, a few seniors I know.
Another thing that can be done if it is extended is, where it says outside town hall on the
yes,
whatever you call it, what you mentioned.
It's the lion sign or
yes,
but
to write in there extended date, and it's been extended to such. Do it before and then the extension.
But I think online it needs to be changed to the date there. So someone the office is closed. The town is closed on Friday, right? So it would have to be all changes would have to be made through, I guess, Lucy's office or whoever.
No, it goes through Abacus. Put out the survey.
Well. Okay, but it's on the town site with a link.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So I think it has the date on it probably. So, tomorrow, anything that has to be changed on the town website would need to go on there tomorrow, before the weekend.
Yeah, I'm sending something to Janet right now. So we'll try and see if we can do that. But I'm sorry, I missed that chat. Let me see what it says.
So
Go, Senor Palermo. Go.
Dinner's burning. Oh my goodness.
Thanks, Jim. You are doing the disappearing act after all.
Yes,
I can't vote on anything now. We don't have a quorum anymore.
He was practicing before.
I think under Robert's rules, if you had a quorum when you began the meeting and someone leaves, I think you're still able to make.
Okay.
Is that right?
I don't know.
I'm not
Sounds
sure
that's
that, but you know what? We can just email you and you will give us your vote if we need to vote on something.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Adios.
Adios.
The next thing is board member recruitment. We talked about that yesterday also at the meeting, and we both, I have spoken to a couple of people, but they're not able to at this time.
I had a very, very interesting email from a gentleman from Tennessee.
Oh.
His name is Brad Towle, I think it's Towel or Towle. He's from Maple Street originally. He's selling his farm in Tennessee and coming back to Southampton, and he wants to be part of this board. Is that exciting or what?
When is he arriving?
Well, I know, not soon enough. I did tell him we were very happy to hear about his interest. But Maple Street, as you know, is near the new senior center. I mean, near our senior center. It's the road that goes adjacent to it.
Yeah.
So he lives in walking distance.
Good.
So anyway,
Good.
I think his wife is already in town. But anyway, so I know, and I've asked 3 people, and there's another 4 that I think might be potential, but I don't think you can have a husband and wife. I think you need to have one or the other. It probably wouldn't be proper to have a couple. So I do have a few people in mind that I'm going to reach out to, but I know the applications are online.
So if you know of anybody, or, I'll continue talking to people and see if they're able to be part of. So
yeah, I don't know if everybody else is privy that Josie wants to step down before her term ends as well. So that
she's going to stay with us until the end of June.
Okay.
She
couldn't make it tonight, but she's going to stay on.
Yeah. Yeah. She may not be able to attend all the meetings, but she's going to stay.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Friends, Jonathan, you are on.
So since our last meeting, there haven't been any Friends meetings, but so nothing to report other than next week. So next week, the Friends on Tuesday, the 10th, their monthly meeting will be at 10:30, and it'll be a short meeting, and that will be followed by their annual meeting, both at the senior center. And the annual meeting at 11 will also include election of some open offices for chair, vice chair, and director at large.
Oh, good. Okay. All righty. Thank you. Select board update. Rini was not able to attend. She let us know earlier. Any business that cannot wait until the next meeting?
I would just say that, and I didn't say it earlier when we were talking about the outreach coordinator, that I think it would be great if we're able to move in that direction and find a way to hire one and to make it work. I think it would take a load off of several people at on the staff now, free them up to do some other things, and I'll just have one person who would just have the burden of doing the outreach. And in so many ways, some of it's basic social work, but some of it is also just, as we talk about memory care, the memory cafe, just getting people, getting people to programs and stuff, and to be able to help other staff with that. I think, as Liz Plouffe indicated yesterday at last meeting about her work in Easthampton, which is not as outreach coordinator, but has some responsibilities that overlap with it, that there'd be a lot of room for that position to develop, and for the person to, for all of us to figure out just what from time to time is really important. And I think that having an outreach coordinator, and we find a very able person to do it, that person should help us in building that position for the future. So if it can work, then with the monies from ARPA or otherwise, I hope we can do it. So I'm glad to know that the committee, the subcommittee, Joan and Sylvia, Jim, and I guess I think Rini has been
Janet
have explored that.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially we have the opportunity to have that chunk of money right now. And we can have the possibility of extending it for 2 years. I think it will be an opportunity missed if we don't go for it. And it's needed. It's not something like, oh, well, it is needed. And it will lift a lot of responsibilities from the folks that are there right now, and it will move us forward with the services that we have and we would like to have. Do agree. So shall we schedule the next meeting? That will be, I had it written and I lost it. Let's see if I can find it in my calendar.
I think it's the first. I don't know if that's too soon in the month, but I think it's the first.
That's the first Wednesday.
Yeah, it's the first Wednesday. Last December, we had it on the 1st also.
Did we?
No, it's the 7th.
Wow.
The 7th? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But we get to decide whether we want to repeat on the 1st in March.
Right.
Since
February's the one that
we've got
has.
4 weeks exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
wow, already 23, and we're thinking about and talking about February.
I think it's good to have it at the beginning of the month because there's so much to do. It's a short month. There's so much to do.
It is a short month. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else, folks? Joan, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And today I was baptized.
Oh, yes. I think you did an excellent job.
Yes,
Janet will
very
go
good.
over the recording and say you did an excellent job.
Thank you. That's something that is used in back home in Mexico is used like, when you get like all of a sudden you have to do something that you're sort of trained, but sort of you don't know. I
apologize. We had 2 guests today. We had Nilda and we had Kate, and I should have asked if either of them had something they would like to share. They just wanted to listen, but if there was something they wanted to share.
I have something to say.
Okay.
I didn't want to interrupt out of respect for the agenda. However, I was very surprised when I printed it that there wasn't time listed for open time for the public.
That's
Somebody
right.
wanted. And I think it's a big loss because one of the reasons that I came was because I've been getting quite a bit of calls about what's going on. And I thought I wanted to share it with you. And you should know about it. So
do you have any examples in regards to what's going on?
I'm not going to go into it now. But I if I had realized that I wouldn't even have logged in. I just they're not all bad. I'm just, I think I have a lot of history with the COA. So, but in any case, now that Joan said something, I decided to interject, but that was I missed it. I don't know if the agendas in the past never included open time. I don't know.
We always had it. I don't know how it got. I don't know how it got dropped.
Yeah.
And also at the end of every meeting, Janet also, before we close, especially when there's no one. I mean, most of the times we don't have.
Well, I hadn't planned to stay for the whole meeting, and I thought there might have been a little opening when you did the feasibility committee update, because it's in concert with that. There's a combination of misinformation or things. And I feel that if you guys really want to be transparent and you want to share the budget situation and what you're doing, you have to open up the door. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
So maybe next month.
Yeah, we do share the link. We share the link. It's on MyTownGov, and it's I
sometimes see the recorded minutes from other committees just because I'm changing channels, but I'm not spending a lot of time on Zoom. I have my own Zoom meetings, but in any case, it was very interesting. The fact that Janet wasn't here and you guys had a lot to say, I was impressed. Because she usually leads and does a lot of the background because she's in it like 100%.
That's the truth, Nelda.
Yeah, she is. She is.
Okay, so on that note, I will say goodbye and thank you.
And next month we'll put in time for the public, and we hope to hear from you again.
Maybe I'll show up. No, I'll plan on it.
Okay, great.
Okay, take care.
Thank you, Nilda.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
All right. Kate, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Just that I've appreciated getting to know everybody so far, and it's been a lot of fun working at the center. It's been great. I love the fact that I'm back in person working someplace, especially when you can make those personal connections. Joan, thank you for the opportunity. Susan, you were in my interview, so I appreciate being able to see you again after. But no, I love being involved, and any opportunity to do additional activities or just anything with the center, I'm all for. So just appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you.
She's got her certification for
Serve Safe. Sandy and I went to training last month and learned a lot. Changed the way I view and prepped in my house. So it's been good.
Good.
And she has interest in maybe learning the Shine program, which would be such an asset to the department.
Oh,
So
yes.
they have their training in Greenfield. So we're going to look into that.
Great. Yes. The more you can bring into the center, and the better. Better for all of us and for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to getting involved more. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, folks. We'll see. Anything else? Nope. We'll see you on the 1st.
Have a great month.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.